Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium at New Bedford High School, where tonight New Bedford Cable Access Sports is proud to present high school basketball MIAA tournament action. The New Bedford High Whalers at 13-7 on the season, and the number 7 seed taking on the Taunton Tigers, 12-8 on the year, and they are the number 10 seed. Joe Cabral joined tonight, as always, by Paul Santos and Ian Abreu. Well, we have a big one, guys. The Whalers have not been in the tournament for several years. They're back, and they're ready to go.
Oh, we had a chance to talk to the coaches before the game, as we usually do, and we started with head coach Ed Rodricks, and he pointed out correctly, this used to be like old hat. Every single year you come into the tournament, usually you kind of cruise by the first 2-3 rounds, see how far you can go. Haven't been here for a while, so this is really a first experience for the young team. I do think they'll do well against Taunton tonight. They really want to do that to see if they can get on a roll.
And you know, gentlemen, and speaking earlier with Coach Charlie Dacey for the Tigers, he was telling me, gentlemen, that the key to victory tonight for the Tigers is that they're going to have to break the full court press of the Whalers and the run and gun offense that Eddie Rodricks loves to run, and the up-tempo offense. It's no secret, that's what Eddie Rodricks likes to run. So, in speaking with Dacey, he says, that's all we got to do, and we should be successful tonight.
Well, easier said than done. We'll see if the Tigers have the capability of stopping New Bedford's run and gun offense and their high pressure defense.
I'll tell you one thing, gentlemen, Charlie Dacey was certainly confident in his group, which, you know, he has no reason not to be. I mean, his team finished at 12-8 with a .600 winning percentage.
Of course, stopping the press against New Bedford and dealing with it in the Old Colony Conference, where Taunton generally plays, is something else.
Of course, this is a first-round game in the 2004 MIAA Boys Basketball Division I South Regional. And the Whalers, if they were to win tonight, would go on to play Friday night against either BC High, the number 2 seed, or North Quincy, the number 15 seed.
Actually, Joe, we just got it confirmed a few minutes ago that BC High defeated North Quincy 81-40 in a romp, so they will face BC High Friday night.
So it'll be the Whalers against BC High on Friday night if New Bedford can come away with a win tonight, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. They take on the Taunton Tigers here tonight.
So we talk about tournament basketball. The Whalers used to be a frequent visitor to the state tournament. Just about every year hosted a first-round game. It's really great to see the Whalers back in there and a nice crowd on hand. You just can't beat tournament basketball. It's like the local version of March Madness here at the high school level, and should be exciting as the Whalers take on the Tigers.
And in talking with Coach Ed Rodricks, I asked him, I said, why is your squad more successful this year than last year? And he said, well, you know, Ian, one reason mostly, not only do we have 5 strong, but we have a strong bench. Whether it's JoJo Forts, Jerome DePina, or my son, Ryan Rodricks, that's exactly what he said. They can all come off the bench and fill in the void. AJ Tavares needs a break. Ryan Rodricks can step in for about a good 3 or 4 minutes and carry the load.
We see the starters for the Tigers being introduced so far. We've seen number 5, Jamie Kanzler, number 23, Jesse Texera. Barry Latham will also be starting at a guard tonight. Jeff Nort will be one of the forwards, and the center tonight will be number 33, Ryan Walzak. Now the introductions for the Whalers, of course, Big 3 conference champs this year, going undefeated in the conference. Here is Brian Rudolph, the sophomore point guard, who has been just simply outstanding for the Whalers, especially over the last 3 weeks or so. Marcel Canary will be playing at one of the forward spots, wearing number 34 here tonight. No changes tonight, Paul, in the Whalers starting lineup.
Whalers have played solid, especially down the stretch. Got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but really put their team together down the stretch, kind of gelled. And as Ian pointed out, that first 3 or 4 guys off the bench, you hardly notice a difference when those guys come in and the starters get a little bit of a break.
The other starters tonight for New Bedford, of course, the center will be number 23, Nick Ponce. AJ Tavares will be starting at a guard spot, as will number 20, Brandon Pina. We're just moments away from the opening tip here tonight in Division I South action. Now we prepare for our national anthem. We are ready for tournament action at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium.
I'd like to point out, guys, that Nick Ponce, the starting center for Eddie Roderick's Whalers, is nursing a little bit of a sore ankle. He injured his ankle in the last game of the year against Barnstable, but he told me he's still going to give it a go today, obviously. But don't be surprised if he's taken out quite often for the JoJo Forts.
The officials tonight, Paul?
Yes, we have Dan Buron and Paul Bartadoli.
Bartadoli. Say that 3 times, Paul.
Bartolotti. There you go, Bartolotti.
And we thank Dylan for the names of the officials here tonight. There are the starting lineups.
So Nick Ponce has really come on strong in the center position. Canary and AJ, and I tell you, AJ's really lit it up from beyond the 3-point stripe down the stretch. And for Taunton, the big gun is that Texera kid, who is the main offensive threat for Taunton coming into tonight's game. There's Nick, who's really been doing well, finessing those rebounds in from the paint.
And he controls the opening tip. Here's Brian Rudolph, takes it right to the glass, lays it up and in.
Great stop for the Whalers. There's an example of the running gun offense. Quick feed to Rudolph, and he lays it in for the deuce.
Here's the pressure from the Whalers. Texera with the basketball. He's stripped from behind, and New Bedford has it. Here's Brandon Pina. The Whalers already with a bucket and a turnover early on here tonight. Drop it down low to Canary on the pass from Ponce. He goes to the glass, no good. Rebound to the floor, and it's in the hands of Nick Ponce. There's Tavares wide open for a 3. His shot is good.
AJ Tavares shooting from his favorite spot, Paul, the corner, and he nailed it.
So if AJ gets hot, the Whalers can really put the pressure on early on and pull away.
Texera with the basketball. He had a turnover last time. This time he does cross the timeline successfully and gets the basketball back. Here's Jesse Texera, swings it to Kanzler. Pass down low, intended for Walzak, and a turnover for Taunton. And the Tigers look nervous here early on, and they're having a hard time handling the basketball, especially against the Whalers' pressure.
We're not even a minute into the game, gentlemen. On Taunton already with 2 turnovers and down by 5.
Here's Tavares with the basketball. Alley-oop looking for Ponce. The pass was overthrown, and it's a turnover for the Whalers. Tiger basketball.
Tigers starting out with their staple man-to-man defense, but don't be surprised to see them go to a 3-2 zone later on if New Bedford keeps penetrating.
Pass inside, layup around and out from Latham. And then a jump ball is called, so the basketball will stay with Taunton. Inbounding for the Tigers, it's number 31, Jeff Nort. Finds Texera, he'll shoot the long 3, no good. Rebound to Canary inside. That was the first time tonight the Tigers had gone down the floor without a turnover. Pass inside intended for Ponce, and another turnover for the Whalers. They're second on the night.
The head coach of Taunton, Darcy, is going to call his first time out already, not liking what he sees being down by 5 this early in the game.
5-0. The Whalers with the early lead. A minute and a half in. 14:29 to be precise left in the first half, as we see head coach Ed Rodricks of the Whalers meeting with his squad. We have 6 cameras here tonight, Paul, for a high school basketball game, so quite extraordinary. A first here on New Bedford Cable Access, as you see the Whaler huddle and now the Tigers. But when we were looking at New Bedford's huddle, we actually had a camera on the other side of the floor. So we have the opportunity of having some reverse angle replays here tonight.
And, you know, gentlemen, I'd also like to add there's a mini camera behind the free throw, behind the south hoop where the Whalers are shooting right now. So every time the Whalers will go to the line, we'll cut and we'll get a little behind the blackboard action of seeing the ball fall through the net.
Kanzler with the basketball for the Tigers. Finds Texera. Pass along the baseline. That's Latham. Back up top to Texera. Tigers offense starting way back. Texera with the jumper, and it's good. That's a one-on-one move from Jesse Texera. And Taunton is on the board, trailing 5-2.
No secret, Texera, obviously their best player. Excellent follow through, and he nailed the fadeaway.
Here's Rudolph working alone to the bucket, no good. Rebound inside to Bryan. His shot is around and in. Pass intended for Kanzler. And Rudolph, like a bull in a china shop that time, bowled over Kanzler. So the foul is on the Whalers. That's their first team foul this evening for New Bedford. They lead 7-2. With the ball, it's Texera crossing the timeline. Takes it to the glass with a right hand around and out. Rebound to Ponce. Texera's taken every shot so far by the Tigers. Here's Tavares. He'll shoot the three and nothing but net.
Well, there's an example that Tavares looked like he didn't even have that much time, but he set himself. Knew he had the opening and drained it. Just a dangerous player to try to stop.
Is Kanzler taking it to the basket and stripped from behind by Pina. Now the Whalers, 2-on-1, give it to Tavares off the glass around and out. The rebound inside to the Tigers, but they lose it, and it's New Bedford's basketball. And so far, it is early on, but 10-2 in favor of New Bedford, and the Tigers really don't look like they should be on the same floor with New Bedford.
Well, the Tigers are playing very sluggish right now, gentlemen.
There's Nick Ponce with a soft touch. Rolls it around and in. New Bedford up 12-2.
There you go, your big center hitting the outside shot.
And Nick Ponce was the one coming off the pick as if he was the point guard. He was the one posting up and made the shot. Sweet touch.
Texera inside. Finding Latham. His shot is no good, but Latham is fouled and will go to the line for 2 free throws.
One of the big strengths of these New Bedford team down the stretch is their ability to jump on opponents right away. We've seen that happen so many times. Coach Roderick saying before tonight's game, boy, if you could really get off to that big start and not look back, that would be the approach that they will take coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, you know, you don't want it going down to that final seconds like the girls basketball game last night against Taunton. Luckily, if you're a Whalers fan, they won, but nevertheless, it was 39-38 and went right down to the last shot at the buzzer. Nail-biter all the way.
Latham gets the friendly bounce on the second attempt, so he connects on 1 of 2. It's 12-3 in favor of New Bedford. First half action from Beardsworth Gonzalez. Going right to the glass and laying it up and in, it's Brian Rudolph. Making it look a bit too easy, gentlemen.
Tell you, Brian Rudolph, only a sophomore, 5'11". I mean, this guy is going to be an impact player for the next 2 years for Coach Roderick.
The Tigers with the basketball and Texera with the three-point attempt, and it's good.
Texera has a sweet touch, gentlemen. All 6 points have come from him. Like 5 of the 6, excuse me. 5 of the 6 have come from him, and he has a sweet touch from outside the perimeter.
Here's Ponce being guarded by Walzak. Gives it to Canary. Now Tavares, NBA distance. But he gives it to Rudolph, who'll take the pull-up jumper. No good. Rebound to Canary. He goes up with a right hand around and out, and the rebound inside to Kanzler. Kanzler finding Texera, who has had the basketball in his hands about 80% of the time for the Tigers. Pull-up jumper from Texera is short. Rebound to Walzak. Goes to the glass. Bricks it. No good. Rebound inside Kanzler. No good again. Here's Walzak one more time. He's rejected by Pina. And then a foul is called inside by referee Paul Bartolotti.
And personal foul goes to New Bedford's Nick Ponce.
Nevertheless, great hustle by the Tigers, getting all those offensive rebounds. 3 rebounds consecutively, and neither Nick Ponce or Canary or any of their big men could grab it down. Great hustle.
Pass inside intended for Latham is stolen on the inbound. Here's Tavares with the basketball, finds Pina, takes it to the glass, no good. Rebound inside to Kanzler for the Tigers. With the left hand, it's Kanzler. Stops left side of the arc, kicks it up top to Texera. Back to Kanzler. He'll take it right to the glass with the right hand this time and lays it in. There's a fine move by Jamie Kanzler.
Kanzler went right to the hoop and laid it in.
The Tigers within 6 at 14-8. Looking a little bit more confident. They find Pina with the basketball, drives the paint, his shot around and out, rebound to Kanzler. Kanzler looking ahead, finding his man Nort, he lays it up and in. Tigers within 4.
For some reason, it looks like the Whalers are the team that are trailing and they're playing with urgency. They should slow the pace down and take the easy shots, look for the open looks, go to the paint, drive to the net. They're taking a lot of unnecessary shots here, I believe.
Rudolph finds Tavares. He takes it to the glass with the right hand. Back rim, rebound to Kanzler, his 4th of the night. Kanzler trying to take it to the glass with the left hand. He's blocked by Pina. Second block of the night for Brandon Pina. New Bedford with the basketball. Here's Rudolph. Into the paint. Little runner, floater, no good. Rebound inside. That's Latham. Latham finding Jamie Kanzler. Now Texera. Walzak tried to set a pick, and a carry is called on Texera, who made that playground move when you try to hold the basketball on your hand for a second there and get the defense off guard. But he was called correctly for a palming violation.
Taunton going on a little spurt over the last couple minutes.
The score is 14-10 in favor of New Bedford. Looked early on like the Tigers were going to have a hard time staying in this one with the Whalers.
Ryan Rodrigues and JoJo Force now coming to the game for New Bedford.
A shot from Rodrigues, finds the back iron, then bounces up a couple times on the rim and goes down. 16-6.
And I said it before, and I'll say it again, guys. JoJo Force will play a vital role here tonight because Ponce is not 100%.
Check that, it was 16-10, but then Jesse Texera with an up and under move connects at 16-12 in favor of the Whalers, but the Tigers are holding their own with 9:36 left in the first half. Here's Rodrigues for three, wide open, shot back iron, rebound inside to the Tigers, and a turnover. Texera on the floor trying to strip Rudolph. He gets it to Canary. Little pull-up is good from Marcel Canary.
Sweet touch by Marcel Canary, found wide open right after the free throw line and nailed it.
Here's Texera. Finds his man Choate on the right wing. He takes it to the glass and is fouled. So Kenny Choate will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. They list Kenny at 5'9", and I doubt it. There we see head coach Ed Rodrigues. If he's 5'9", Ian, you're about 6'7".
Yeah, I think so. I'm about 5'6", so I don't know.
Every once in a while, a high school roster will be exaggerated just a little.
Just a tad.
Sometimes it happens during football season.
Yo, we know that.
That doesn't happen, guys. Come on.
Choate misses the first free throw. The score remains 18-12. Second attempt rolls around and out. The rebound to JoJo Forts. Gets it to Rodrigues and now Rudolph. Rudolph being guarded by Choate. Takes it to the glass with the right hand and banks it home. Fine move by Brian Rudolph. 20-12 in favor of New Bedford. A strip by the Whalers inside. That's Rodrigues. His shot is up and good.
Great up and under move by Ryan Rodgers. Got the pass and laid it right in. Great steal by Marcel Canary.
22-12. New Bedford leading the Tigers by 10.
Canary got that ball and he gave it to Rodrigues, and Rodrigues was going up and looked like he had nowhere to go to the basket and made that great move. And as he was going back and down, the ball went off the glass and in. Beautiful move. And that's what we talked about before. The Whalers have those kinds of athletes who can come in off the bench.
See another good angle of Coach Eddie Rodrigues.
For the Tigers, guys, it seems much of the weight of the offense is upon the shoulders of Jesse Texera. Whether he scores or has to dish the basketball, it seems like whenever the Tigers score, it's because of Texera.
And you can't rely on one man. Now, you can't in any sport, especially basketball. You're going to have to work it inside and outside the perimeter, try to work it in, draw the fouls, try to find the open man. Texera can't do it all by himself. We learned that in the last game we did against Durfee with Jamal Johnson. He couldn't do it all by himself. Neither can Texera.
Texera is out of the lineup now, actually. So the Tigers really could be hard-pressed. New Bedford with a half-court trap that time. Pass inside, lay it up and in. Scott Pollard for the Tigers. They draw to within 8, 22-14, 8:33 left in the first half. In fact, you see the clock there on your screen tonight. Lots of features here. This high school tournament game. Rodrigues for three, a shot no good. Rebound inside to Latham. He crosses the timeline for the Tigers. Finds Choate, baseline pass. Three-point attempt, air ball.
Wild shot.
No good. New Bedford with the rebound. Long range three by Tavares is good.
Oh, AJ Tavares, that's an Ian point.
That's an NBA three-point attempt. An over and back violation is called against the Whalers on the turnover. They had the basketball, but on the steal, stepped back across the timeline, ended up with an over and back. So the Tigers regain possession.
that A.J. Tavares, just a tremendous weapon to have. 3 3-pointers so far. One of them was wide open. The other one he was covered. This one was from a long distance.
Texera with a fine move, taking it into the paint and then connecting on the 15-footer. He looks like a ball player, very smooth offensively. The Whalers, even though they're concentrating on him, have a hard time stopping the smooth guard. Here's Pina looking into the low post to Ponce. Pass lobbed inside by Rodrigues, taken away by the Tigers' Pollard, who finds Texera. He'll shoot the long three. A shot no good. Rebound inside off the hands of Pollard. And JoJo Forts is called for the foul as he hit the arm of Scott Pollard.
Well, Jesse Texera has 9 points for the Taunton Tigers so far. Jesse, a 5'11 junior, and has really been the central focus of the Taunton offense.
Inbound pass stolen by the Whalers, a very careless pass, and then a foul will be called on Texera, who stepped on the heel of Ryan Rodrigues.
You know, guys, I like what Eddie Rodrigues is doing here. He's taking both Tavares and Canary out, and he has both Ponce and Forts in there, so you're kind of taking away an outside perimeter shooting game. But what you're doing is that you're increasing your odds to getting a lot of offensive rebounds and working in the paint. I love it.
Pollard with the basketball, and he was allowed to get up because he had 1 foot on the floor, not 2 knees. If he would have had both knees down, it would have been traveling. Stepping on the end line for the Tigers, it was number 31, Jeff Nort. So Taunton with another turnover. The basketball belongs to New Bedford. 6:54 left in the first half. 25-16. The Whalers with the lead. Here's Rodrigues with the basketball, left side of the arc. Takes it into the paint, finds Forts along the baseline. He shoots an air ball, and the rebound inside to Pollard. Finds Texera with the left hand. He takes a pull-up jumper. His shot back iron, no good. Rebound Pina. Whalers trying to push the basketball. Here's Rodrigues. He'll take it to the glass, lay it up with the right hand and in.
I don't think Rodrigues could have been called to steps there. Did a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump.
27-16. More pressure from New Bedford, but here's Texera. Thought about the three, instead tries to take it inside, and he's called for steps. And you can see the problem that Jesse Texera has. He is really not a selfish ball player. He is unselfish, but he has to force it for his squad, and it's so difficult when the opposition knows that you are the main man and virtually the only man who can score outside for a team, and they're all over him.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to double team you and triple team you and whatnot, and that's what the Whalers are doing, and it's been utilized very well here thus far.
27-16, New Bedford with an 11-point lead. 6 minutes left in the first half. Glad you joined us on New Bedford Cable Access Sports for high school basketball boys tournament action. Inside, Canary with the reverse, and New Bedford increases its lead to 13. Taunton does not have an answer, Paul, for the physical Marcel Canary inside. Tigers with the basketball, pass inside, Choate, he lays it in. 29-18, back to within 11. The Tigers trying to hold on, stay close here in the first half. Here's Pina with the basketball between the legs, now gives it to Rodrigues. Thinks about taking it into the paint. Hands it off to Tavares, kick it outside to Pina. Rodrigues open for three, thought about it, gets into the paint, little runner, round and in.
Nice follow through by Ryan Rodrigues with a sweet touch. Banged it around the rim and in.
Tigers having a hard time with New Bedford's pressure. Here's Choate, 2-on-1 for the Tigers. He takes a pull-up jumper, shot off the glass, no good. Rebound inside. Tavares is stripped by Kanzler. Little spin move from Jamie Kanzler, and he's stripped of the basketball. Here's Tavares. Thought about headmanning the basketball to Canary, then sets it up outside by giving it to Pina. Pina again looking into the paint. Kicks it baseline. There's Ponce. He shoots an air ball. Rebound inside to Rodrigues. He banks it home. Ryan Rodrigues having a big first half here. Has got a few kindly bounces, but then also working hard and picking up some cleanups. That time, the air ball by Ponce, and then the bucket inside by Rodrigues.
Fortunately, Rodrigues was able to put in the putback, but there is no need for Nick Ponce to be shooting a three-pointer. No need at all.
Here is Kanzler with the basketball. The Tigers down by 15. Kanzler swings it to Choate, right side of the arc, looking down low for Pollard. The basketball was kicked by A.J. Tavares.
Ryan Rudolph is back on the court, replacing Ryan Rodrigues.
Yeah, Ryan Roddick's did an outstanding job in double figures already, I believe. And just outstanding job since coming in.
Roderick's with 8 so far here in the first half.
You were close enough, Paul. 8, close enough to a double digit.
That from our crack statistician, Dylan Santos. You notice I said crack, not crack pot.
I think we.
Oh man.
I think we might have 10.
Oh, it's
This ain't
always a
Casey.
father's prerogative to correct his son, right?
Yeah, and the other way around too. That happens on occasion,
Yeah.
as
There
I'm
we
sure
see.
Joe knows.
Oh, there we see the Tigers head coach, Charlie Dacey.
Well, Charlie said before the game it could be a long night for the Tigers, and so far that fear has panned out here for his team as Whalers have come out strong, just like they have done in most of the games that they've played during the second half of the season.
If the Whalers can make it up to 20 here before the half, in my view, Tigers are pretty much done here for tonight. Of course, anything can happen, but I'm just saying, you know, that's going to be an insurmountable lead to come back from, in my view. Coming out of the locker room down by 20 or more.
Baseline jumper from Choate for 3 is good. The Tigers within 12 at 33-21. Here's Rudolph looking down to the low post and Ponce, but back outside instead to Rodrigues. Here's Rudolph. Kick it up top to Rodrigues. He thought about the 3. Here's the runner again. He's made it 3 times. This time no good. Rebound inside to the Tigers' Pollard, who gets it to Kanzler. The Tigers getting virtually all of their offense from Texera. Now Kanzler penetration finds Pollard inside. He lays it up around and in.
Nice feed to Pollard, Joe, and he went right into the hoop and laid it in.
Back to within 10. The Tigers trailing 33-23. Here's Brian Rudolph with the basketball, way up top. Looks to get into the paint. Kicks it instead to Tavares. Another wide open 3, this time back iron. Rebound to Kanzler. Tigers 3-on-2 here. Kanzler inside. That's Choate with the basketball now. He'll shoot the 3. His shot is up, short. Rebound inside to Walzak. His shot, again, off the glass hard. Didn't draw any iron. Pass ahead of the field to Rodrigues. He tries to find Ponce, and then another steal by the Tigers.
Great
Pass ahead to Walzak. He's called for steps.
Great hustle by Rodrigues just to save that pass, even though he couldn't get it to Ponce.
Walzak's a big body, listed at 6'5" and a junior, but he's had difficulty on the offensive end. Turned the basketball over there with the steps, and on 2 occasions had layups and drew nothing but glass.
Yeah, they've had a couple of times where they've gotten 2 and 3 rebounds and not finished. And if they have any chance of getting back into this game, they've got to make those second and third opportunities that they've been getting.
Here's Tavares, steps inside the arc, jumper no good, rebound goes out of bounds. Off of the Tigers, so it is New Bedford basketball. A.J. Tavares holding his hand, but staying in the lineup. Rodrigues to inbound. Finds Ponce along the baseline, being pushed by Walzak. Up top, Rodrigues. Now A.J. Tavares, 2:22 left, first half. Here's Brian Rudolph, right at the arc. He'll shoot a 3, shot way off the mark. That's not Brian's strength.
Brian's strength is nailing those 15, 20 footers and getting off the pick.
Latham finding Walzak high post, now swinging the basketball, ends up in the hands of Choate. He shoots the long range 3, no good. New Bedford head manning the basketball. Tavares to the glass, lays it up with the right hand. Count the basket, and Coach Charlie Dacey said, okay, if that's a foul, then it has to be on the floor. This is not the NBA. There's no continuation, but the officials said, yes, count it.
Great play by Tavares, went right up, laid it in, got fouled, and guys, for the first time ever, we're going to see our behind the backboard cam for this shot of A.J. Tavares. Are you ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
Ready? Are they ready is the question.
I don't know. Well,
We have we're seeing the back of Ed Rodrigues' head. That's close, I guess, but.
Rather than the back of the basket?
Yeah, well,
I guess someone pressed the wrong button. It's okay, guys.
it's okay. Ian, the future Fox Sports net star, forgives you. Here's Texera with a basketball with the left hand inside. takes it right to Nick Ponce, is fouled, and will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
On April the 14th of 2004, you have to pencil that day in your calendar.
Why?
As well,
Might I ask?
I'm glad you asked that question. That's because Ian was selected out of quite a few entries to do 5 minutes of a Celtics telecast on Fox Channel 25. That's on April the 14th. Congratulations, Ian. I think that's awesome.
Thank you very much, Paul, and it's my honor to just commentate a Celtics game. You know, I've grown up a Celtics fan, a hardcore sports fan, and I just can't wait to go to the Fleet Center. It's going to be a great time.
Well, I'm sure you're going to bring them some luck because there are 5-minute intervals during the recent past that haven't been that good for the Celtics.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you'll get like the best 5 minutes of the year.
And plus, you know, it's the last home game of the year. It's against the Atlanta Hawks, so it'll be something special. You know, I get to go to the locker room, get to see the production van, get to meet Tommy and Mike, which is worth the trip alone.
Mike Gorman did some broadcasts for WNBH back in the old days.
So I hear.
Even before Joe and I were at WNBH.
And that is the old days.
Back in the days of reel-to-reels.
Paul and I, believe it or not, were at NBH way back in 1982.
It's not that long ago, guys.
36-25, New Bedford up by 11. That's when I started, Paul, 1982. You were there already when I arrived. Here's Canary with a steal.
Man.
Tries to take it to the glass, turns the basketball over. Paul is, of course, much my senior.
Yeah, I started 2 years before Joe.
You started in 1980? 1980.
Zach Smith now comes into the game, substituting Nick Ponce. Zach Smith, the backup center.
Here's a steal by Rudolph. Takes it to the glass, around and out. Rebound inside. Off of the hands of Marcel Canary. So the Tigers will inbound with 56.1 seconds left. Taunton with lots of problems here tonight so far, handling New Bedford's pressure.
They're actually fortunate that they're only down by 11 at this point.
Absolutely. Zach Smith with a rejection on the attempt by Kanzler. Ahead of the field, Tavares misses, and AJ will be called for a violation. He came in from out of bounds, had not established both feet inbound, so that's a turnover, and it's Tiger basketball. AJ's missed 2 layups here, and he's smooth as silk on his 3-point attempts. Here's Texera inside against Smith. Spinning attempt, no good. Rebound inside to the Tigers, and a foul will be called against Taunton.
Tigers have had some difficulty finishing those shots, and it's happened probably 3 or 4 times, and you bury a couple of those, and maybe the 10-point or 11-point lead is more like 5 or 6.
The Whalers look to get almost like the last shot here of the half. It's about a 2-second differential, 1.5 to 2-second differential here on the clock, and the game clock.
A 3-second violation is called against New Bedford, and Coach Ed Rodrigues is walking along the sideline. The Whalers were just holding the basketball, trying to wait for the final shot, and somehow someone got caught inside. But here's a steal by Rodrigues. Maybe it was New Bedford's plan to turn over the basketball so they could employ their press.
Oh, that was a great job by Rodrigues, but an ill-advised, kind of lazy, slow pass.
Inside, Texera on the putback. Gets the Tigers back to within 11, and that will be the score, or the lead difference, at the half. The New Bedford High Whalers 38, the Taunton Tigers 27. Guys, kind of what you'd expect. New Bedford dominating for much of that first half, but they still only lead by 11.
Seemed like there were some stretches there where it looked like Taunton was about to be blown out of the arena, and then all of a sudden they just did enough just to hang around.
Well, at the beginning, it looked as though Taunton was going to have a hard time breaking the full court press there, instructed by Rodrigues, but actually towards the end, they've broken the full court press with a little bit of success, and now it's only a 38-27 lead, and at one point, the Whalers had a good 16-point lead, so anything can happen here in the second half.
Still not making as many shots close to the basket as the Whalers have.
And of course, a lot of that, Paul, from the turnovers that New Bedford's full court press is able to create. We saw Rodrigues there connecting in the last minute on an easy basket on the steal as the Tigers struggled during that first half getting the ball up the floor.
All right, guys, we're going to be getting a replay coming up soon. I was just instructed.
You promised us once.
Well, it wasn't my
replay,
fault last
but
time,
this time
guys.
we have it. Here's when Roderick just steps in, a very lazy pass from Walzak, stolen by Ryan. He lays it in, and that gave New Bedford a 13-point lead. On the other end of the floor, Jesse Texera connected on a putback to get the lead back down to 11. But the score at the half is New Bedford 38, the Taunton Tigers 27. We will be back with second half action after this.
Daddy, why is the sky blue?
Well, to match your pretty eyes.
Nope, not even close. See, all colors have wavelengths that are diffused by oxygen.
Too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at most future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
Who taught you that?
Mommy.
It's her future. Do the math.
Back at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium at New Bedford High School. The score at the half in MIAA Boys Basketball Division I South Tournament action. New Bedford 38, Taunton 27. The Whalers with an 11-point lead. Guys, Joe Cabral joined tonight by Paul Santos and Ian Abreu. But it could have been a lot more. The Whalers seemed to dominate the play, but the Tigers kept it relatively close, down only by 11.
A couple of stretches during that first half where the Tigers made a couple of moves, ran off about 6 points at one point. Just enough to hang in there, but you get the feeling that if the Whalers play the game here in a second, the Whalers could pull away. We'll see.
Here's Tavares with the basketball, swinging it to Rudolph.
The key for Taunton tonight is, for the second half rather, is to break that full court press. Let's see how successful they'll be here.
Up top, Pina trying to penetrate, kicks it outside to Tavares. He'll shoot the three, nothing but net.
Awesome shot by A.J. Tavares, open off the pick, on the fadeaway, nailed the three from the corner, his spot.
A.J. Tavares is a better three-point shooter than he is when he goes to the glass and tries to lay one up and in.
He's got 15 now. Him and Roderick's had 12 at the end of the first half.
Texera with a short jumper, no good. Tries to draw the foul, goes back up again, around, no good. Rebound inside, stolen by Latham. Takes it up with the left hand, but's called for steps. Latham did a good job there on the offensive glass, fighting for the basketball, but then ends up with the traveling violation, and then the Whalers just 44 seconds in calling for a timeout.
Strangely, Eddie Roderick's calling for a timeout here with his team up 41-27, and you can get a good view of Coach Eddie Roderick's yelling at his squad, telling them to get their heads in the game, to hustle. Well, I imagine that's what he's saying. I think I was reading lips, and I think I saw hustle. I'm not sure.
Paul, he might be even trying to make a point here regarding maybe the next game the Whalers play. He might be thinking already ahead, hey, they're playing a little bit like they think they have this game, allowing Latham to get 2 rebounds inside there quite easily. And he wasn't happy with that defensive stand there by New Bedford, so he called for a timeout, even though his squad is up by 14.
Long way to go. Got to keep the intensity here.
Rudolph with the basketball, swinging it to Tavares. Now back up top, Rudolph. The Tigers with a 3-2 zone now. Tavares, baseline pass to Pina. Now back up top, Tavares nearly lost it, but saves it before it goes across the 10-second line. Now Rudolph looking to penetrate, kicks it to Pina. He steps back, then sends it way outside to A.J. Tavares. Long three, air ball. And that will mean a 30-second shot clock violation against New Bedford.
Tavares had to get rid of it that time, guys. The play clock was running down. He had nothing else to do. He couldn't dish the ball. Time almost ran out.
Kansler swings it up top to Texera. Then Latham is inside wide open with the left hand, lays it in.
Nice move that time by Latham, going to the basket, making the move, banging it in.
Here's Rudolph. Sends it outside to Tavares. Another wide open three. And literally nothing but net for A.J. Tavares.
A.J. Tavares wide open, drilling the three again. That, my friends, is an Ian point.
You see Taunton going to that zone, but you got a guy like A.J. out there. That's not going to work either.
Kansler unsuccessful. And the Whalers able to get the ball ahead, and Pont misses the dunk. Rebound to Rudolph. He's rejected. Then Canary goes up. His shot was good, but he's called for steps. Some helter-skelter basketball, and I think Coach Ed Roderick might go to the bench because he doesn't like that style of play.
Nick Ponce had an easy layup, elected to go for the fancy schmancy dunk, and he got all rim, no ball. As a result, nothing was scored.
Kansler takes it to the glass but misses with the left hand. Is that fancy schmancy? That's a technical term in basketball, Paul?
You got to get out the
Fancy
vocabulary again.
Fancy schmancy.
Yeah, you like that, guys?
That's a technical term. You know all of the different terms that they have in basketball that are real technical. They talk about the different turnovers, 3-second violation.
Oh, yeah.
10-second violation, shot clock violation, 5-second violation. Then you get the fancy schmancy.
Fancy schmancy being when you have an easy layup or an easy shot, electing to make the great play, such as the slam dunk. Yeah, you make it, you look like a big hero, but if you don't, you hurt your team and you hurt yourself.
A.J. Tavares with the fancy schmancy jumper from the baseline, no good. Rebound inside to Texera. He has the basketball. 3-on-4 for the Tigers, but he takes it anyway. Stops at the free throw line and connects. He is an offensive player, Jesse Texera. He now has 15 on the night.
It's only a 13-point game now. Taunton still very well in this game with well over 13 minutes left.
Tavares another three. His shot no good this time, and the rebound inside to Choate. Choate gets it to Texera. Tigers with the basketball. Pass up top to Choate. Pina anticipated it and nearly had the steal. Choate sends it along the baseline. Now Walzak with it. Takes it to the glass with the right hand. No good. Walzak has shot the basketball 5 times tonight and has never hit the rim. Ball is deflected out of bounds off of New Bedford. It will stay with the Tigers.
Yeah, Walzak, big kid. He's just trying to finesse his way to the basket, but the Whaler defense has made it rough on him.
Oh, sweet touch there by Texera, but no good. Walzak with the rebound, and he's stripped. And then a foul is called against number 24, Barry Latham of the Tigers.
Yeah, that was a blatant reach and foul. And you can see Roderick and JoJo Forts now getting ready to come into the game for the Whalers. They're going to be substituting Nick Ponce and Brandon Pina. Ponce playing very sparsely here tonight.
Ryan with 12 points in the first half, an outstanding half of basketball, capped by a nice steal in the closing seconds and lay-in. Kind of a weak pass by Taunton.
44-31, New Bedford with a 13-point lead. Guys, a good crowd here tonight. We have both sides of the gym opened up as we have over the past 3 or 4 games that we've done. And about 3/4 full on each of the sides here tonight.
Very good crowd here tonight. And I'm sure the fans of the Whalers will be at BC High if they had a win.
Another 3-point field goal by A.J. Tavares. It's almost automatic for A.J. Nearly a steal by Forts of the Whalers, but the ball went off of his hands, actually his body, and out of bounds. So it stays with Taunton. Here's Jesse Texera. New Bedford in a 2-3 zone now. Pass inside, gets to Latham. He goes up with the left hand around and in. Basket by Barry Latham gets the Tigers back to within 14 at 47-33. Rudolph with a runner. Shot is short. Rebound to the Tigers' Nort.
I've been very impressed with Barry Latham today of Taunton, as he's using all 6'1" of his frame to get in the paint and get the buckets.
Texera was nearly stripped. Goes to the floor. Here's Walzak. And he's called for steps. I don't know how he was able to travel there. He never really had the basketball, but.
A lot of travels here tonight, guys.
New Bedford leading by 14, 47-33, and the gym is relatively quiet, and it has been pretty quiet here tonight despite the big crowd, as I think those in attendance anticipate the Whalers coming away with a win here tonight. Let's see if the Tigers cooperate. Rodricks kicks the ball up top to Tavares. Near steal by Nort, but A.J. gets the ball back, shoots the long 3. Shot rims out this time. Rebound to Canary. Marcel will be called for a double dribble. That's a technical term for when you take the ball, bounce it, hold it, and bounce it again.
I know that, Joe.
We don't need the vocabulary for that one.
Okay, so we didn't need the vocabulary on that. The double dribble, which you don't see that often.
It happened a lot last night in the girls' game I commentated between Taunton and New Bedford.
A lot of double dribble?
A lot of double dribbles.
How about fancy schmancies?
There was a couple of fancy schmancies. Nothing great.
Not too many, Paul.
Not too many. It was only a 39-38 game.
There's a timeout on the floor with New Bedford holding that 14-point lead at 47-33. 10:59 left. And again, it's relatively quiet here. Must be that the crowd in attendance anticipates New Bedford coming away with a win, because they're not really hyped up about New Bedford's 14-point lead.
Kind of a quiet confidence here with the crowd tonight. I think you're absolutely correct as we take a look at the stands. A great turnout. Great to see the folks here in New Bedford supporting this New Bedford Whaler team, and great to see the Whalers back in the state tournament.
Long pass. Gets to Walzak. This should be interesting. Walzak with the ball. Is able to find Kanzler, but right along the sideline, and it was very smart of Kanzler to bounce the basketball off of Ryan Roderick's out of bounds, or he would have stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, Roderick didn't see what hit him.
Here's Nort with the basketball, trying to take it to the glass, no good. Rebound tipped up, no good by Kanzler. Latham comes down with it, he's stripped, and New Bedford with a fast break opportunity. Tavares. Pass along the baseline to Rudolph, he's fouled, and Brian Rudolph will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Personal foul goes to Jeff Nort of Taunton, his first.
As we mentioned earlier, if New Bedford wins tonight, they'll go on to play Friday night at Boston College High. The Eagles 81-40 winners over North Quincy. Pretty much dominated that contest, I would say, gentlemen.
And BC High had a 16-4 record this year with an 800 winning percentage, finishing second in the brackets for the Division I tournament. And the only team that was higher than them was Silver Lake with a 16-2 record at an 889 winning percentage.
The Whalers get by tonight. Obviously, they'll have a real test against Boston College High School in the second round.
Jamie Kanzler with the basketball, gets it ahead to Choate. He tries to take it to the glass, loses the basketball out of bounds. Another turnover for the Tigers, and New Bedford to inbound. A little bit of a drought here by both squads as far as scoring is concerned. 47-33. Score's been that way for about 4 possessions now. Here's Rodrigues. He'll shoot the long 3. Around and out. Rebound inside. Rudolph around and out. Rebound to Force. He takes it up around. No good. Rebound inside to Pollard. And a foul will be called against New Bedford. The Whalers had 3 opportunities there. 2 on the offensive glass that rimmed out. And then the foul was called against Marcel Canary. Here's Choate with the basketball, finding Nort. Long pass intended for Latham, a steal. Then Tavares shoots the jumper, and another 3-point field goal by A.J. Tavares.
The senior is on fire.
Ahead of the field, Kanzler by himself takes it to the glass with the right hand, lays it in.
And Taunton making a statement. They're not going to go anywhere that far behind tonight as they get it back, and it's now a 15-point game, but it behooves them to really start making up some points here.
Rodrigues with the NBA 3, no good. Rebound to Nort, gets it ahead to Choate. Now Choate back up top. Kanzler. Here's Nort, left elbow. Finds Choate into the paint, looking inside. Latham. The foul is called against New Bedford as Choate made the move in the paint, finding Latham, and he will shoot 2 free throws.
All right, guys. Now are you ready to see the behind the hoop camera?
We are.
Hopefully it'll work this time.
Ian, the telestrator, Abreu, is absolutely right.
It is.
Camera's in play as you saw the free throw from Latham.
Not bad.
Now that camera is pretty deceiving because as I was walking in that area prior to the game, I was thinking to myself, where is that camera? Well, that camera is, what, about 2 inches long?
That's it. It's small.
One of those spy cams that you see on the internet all the time.
Yeah. Gets the job done, though.
Tavares finding Rudolph along the baseline, lays it up and in with the right hand. So smooth near the goal is A.J. Check that is Brian Rudolph. He connects again, increasing the Whalers' lead to 15, 52-37. Choate with a lob pass.
Almost a backcourt violation.
Ends up in the hands of Kanzler, but very fortunate. 3-point attempt by Choate, no good, around and out. Rebound inside to Pollard. And he loses it out of bounds. So it's New Bedford basketball.
And as you were saying earlier, Joe, the crowd here is very quiet here tonight. Not all as loud as I thought it would be. I knew there'd be a big turnout here, but maybe it's just a little silent confidence on behalf of the Whalers fans here, and a little bit of embarrassment or silence from the Tigers fans. So all around, silence here at Beards with Gonzalez.
The sounds of silence.
Good song.
Pass inside. Nick Pons lays it in. I'm surprised he knew that was a song.
Salmon and Garfunkel.
Ian Abreu impresses us every day. We talked about cartoons for a couple of years. Now we're ready to spin off into some music dialogue. New Bedford up with a 17-point lead here. Baseline jumper from Forts, no good. Gets his own rebound. Around and in. Give the basket to JoJo Forts. And a timeout is called by the Tigers head coach, Charlie Dacey.
I like to see that, guys. JoJo Forts earns every bucket he makes, and that time he got the offensive board and laid it right in with his right hand, rolled around and fell through.
So you look at the Division I South section here. The Whalers seeded 7 out of 15 teams. I guess you could say kind of a middle of the pack team when you look at it from top to bottom. But I'll tell you, if I'm BC High, I don't think New Bedford would be the team that I would pick to play in the second round. Whalers are just looking very strong in all facets of the game. They got the outside shooting. They've got the pretty good play from the forwards and also the center Ponce. I mean, obviously, BC High would be the favorite, but if there was one team that could pull off that second round upset, I think the Whalers would certainly be in that category.
And also another important fact, guys, I'd like to mention, every time the Whalers this year as a program has faced the Eagles, they have defeated them in both wrestling and football. So maybe that's an omen of things to come here if the Whalers are to face the Eagles in the next round.
We've just received lollipops. I didn't know we were that popular.
From Cheryl Viveros, the captain, the coach and coordinator for cheerleaders.
We appreciate that very much from Cheryl.
Cheerleaders winning a
the Big
championship.
Three championship.
Yeah.
Participation earlier today at Somerset High School. Long range three from Tavares is good.
AJ is on fire, Paul. Can you believe this?
I don't think he knows how to shoot within 19 feet, within the arc. He now has 27 points on the night. Foul is called as Texera took it to the glass. 61-37, 24-point lead. Check that. We have the wrong score up on the screen right now. It's 59-39. Latham connects. The Tigers now with 41. It's 59-41.
Brandon Pena now comes into the game for the Whalers. He's substituting number 31, Brian Rudolph.
I have a strawberry shake.
Yeah, I have green
carousel lollipop.
I have mint chocolate. Anyone like chocolate? I'll trade you.
I got sour black cherry.
Anyone want to trade?
Fit your personality.
I hate chocolate.
Pass inside from Forts is stolen by Pollard. Spin move to the glass, no good. From Kanzler, New Bedford with the rebound. Let's see what Dylan has over here. He has cherry snow, Paul. Cherry snow. I think we got those because of him. I don't think we deserved those or were going to get them if he wasn't here sitting next to us. Kanzler with a rebound on the missed attempt by Ponce.
What happened was she gave Dylan the lollipops and she felt bad for the three of us. So
she had the extras. So Cheryl, thank you. We're trying to do a cheerleading competition someday. Inside, it's Pollard connecting for the Tigers. 59-43.
Hey, maybe that's why we got him.
We were trying to describe the moves at half off the air. Around and out for Tavares, who would have checked that. That time it was Pena. Inside, take it to the glasses. Nort, no good. Rebound to Ponce. Nick Ponce has been relatively quiet here tonight. He only has 4 points. But the Whalers have done it from the outside with A.J. Tavares. 27 on the night. Looks to the low block. There's Ponce. Leans in, around and in. Nick Ponce leaning in, clearing out some space and then connecting. And every time we see Nick, he looks a little bit wider. Here's Kanzler with the basketball.
Nick is just beefing up more and more as time goes on. He's growing in height.
Kanzler finding Nort right side of the arc. Free throw line extended. That's Pollard trying to take it to the glass, and he is fouled.
And personal foul goes to
JoJo Forts with his third of the night, fourth on the team. We were showing
The ceiling.
okay.
You know why that is? Because
The rafters.
I think the ball might have brushed up against that camera.
The rafters.
I'm not exactly sure. I could have.
The camera. Oh, there it is. No, that might have been.
We're back on track. That's the Ian Mello, the Mello Strader. Check that, Abreu Strader.
I thought it was the unmanned camera
I
that
always
was.
like to call him Ian Mello.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I have no idea either because I never knew an Ian Mello. I don't know at all.
It's okay, Joe.
It just as it goes down the line from Santos, it should be Mello on that side.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Next time we'll sit in alphabetical order, okay? From left to right.
See, I just figured that it was the unmanned camera that was pointing at the ceiling.
Okay.
Turned out it was a manned camera that was pointing.
As long as
See what happens when you assume. 61-44.
we're not going to get into that now, are we, guys? When you assume.
No. Ponce with the tip in. New Bedford up by 19, 63-44. 4:52 left. Here's Kanzler taking it to the glass, rejected by Ponce. DePina in the lineup now. Gets it ahead to Canary. Kick it outside to Rudolph. Baseline pass. There's DePina for three. His shot around and in. Some friendly rims here at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium. From the baseline, rolling it around and in is DePina. Steps will be called against the Tigers. This one is
Pretty much in the
getting
books,
away from Taunton now quickly, down by 22, 66-44.
And with 4:23 left, it's pretty much in the books for New Bedford unless something miraculously happens here.
66-44, 4:15 left in the contest. Here's Rudolph with the basketball. Guys, last time we met, we did the game at Greater New Bedford Vocational Technical High School, and it was the anniversary of the Beatles' first visit to the U.S., I believe.
That's right, on the Ed Sullivan Show.
40 years ago, back in 1964. And when we went off the air, I was impressed by, of course, Paul's knowledge. He is a disc jockey of some renown. But Ian actually surprised me in how much he knew about the Beatles and rock and roll and all that stuff from back in the 60s and 70s and stuff.
That's what I follow, 60s and 70s rock, mainly British Invasion. That's what I like to listen to in my car.
British Invasion now. Because he was telling us stuff about like Herman's Hermits.
Dave Clark 5, Herman's Hermits, Freddie and the Dreamers.
So I promised Ian that we would give him a trivia question if the game got out of hand. So here we have the chance. Paul, of course, an expert on British Invasion. So just like it's Jeopardy.
You're putting the pressure on me
For
now.
$200, come up with a British Invasion question for Ian.
I thought you had one typed in already.
Not yet, no. This is flying by the seat of our pants. Pass up top, that's Texera. We'll get him one, even if you can't remember one. I'll come up with one. I'm not nearly as well versed as you are, but.
Give me a moment.
Here's Pollard inside to Texera. We'll see how good he is, because I remember you were spinning those flat discs that we used to call records when we worked at WNBH, and you knew everything.
What band was asked to change the lyrics during an appearance on Ed Sullivan?
Rolling Stones.
And did change the lyrics.
Rolling Stones. Let's spend the night together.
The Rolling Stones.
And he even knew the song.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
And he changed it to Let's Spend Some Time Together.
Paul, you were supposed to say final answer.
And what was the band that refused to change the lyrics?
The Doors Would Light My Fire.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. That was an easy one.
Wow.
We're going to have to come up with something tougher than that.
66-46.
Come on, guys. I don't fool around.
And the Abreu Strader is in full splendor here tonight, coming up with two answers to questions from the Ed Sullivan Show long before he was born.
And he knew the sounds of silence.
And that's not an easy one.
Which is really funny because when Joe and I were working in radio,
We had that a few times.
well, we
played that.
We used to call it the sounds of silence when everything went dead.
We used to play the sounds of silence every once in a while.
Hey, Joe, the sounds of silence again.
Here we go.
Another
Here's
10
Canary
seconds.
with the basketball. Reflecting on our youth. New Bedford with the turnover as a good play by Texera. He bounced the basketball off of the legs of Rodrigues. 66-46, 2:25 left.
I lobbed up a couple of softballs.
Yes, okay.
Maybe, Joe, you ought to go with a tough question.
Who wrote the song, sang it, Paul's favorite, Green Door?
Oh, man, I don't know that one. Green Door? I never heard of that song in my life.
Kansler connects
Green Door, well, who wrote?
for the Taunton Tigers. Who performed the song Green Door?
No clue. No clue.
Paul?
No, I'm sorry.
I don't know either, so I mean, we're stuck.
Oh, so I could have been.
You were the one who played it all the time. I thought you knew it.
I did? How did it go?
Oh, my lovely Green Door.
It said a lot about Green Door. That's all I remember. And Sam Freitas used to play it an awful lot. I thought you knew it. I mean, I was trying to come up with a tough. I knew it was so tough I didn't even know the answer, so I figured I'd throw it.
We just went from too easy to too tough.
Then no one knew that answer.
66-48. New Bedford up by 18. Texera with the basketball. Crosses the timeline against Zach Smith with a reverse. No good. Tigers going to the bench now. Shot up no good by Couture. And the rebound to the Whalers. We got to give him one that's tough, but he might be able to answer. I know you have one deep down inside there. Paul's an expert on this stuff.
I got a question that has to do with Whaler basketball.
Okay.
Who's the player that hit a running shot with less than a minute left in 1993 at the Worcester Centrum, the year the Whalers won the state championship for the first time?
I have no clue. Do you know, Joe?
I'm good in college and the pros, but 1993 I was in hibernation as far as high school basketball was concerned.
Fufu.
And in
Jeff Correa.
And in 1993 I was in second grade, so.
We're just stumping them. Nobody's winning the $1 million tonight.
Nobody tonight. Jerome DePina connecting from along the baseline.
And it's a good touch here.
68-50.
This is a good touch here by Rogers, getting in John DeCosta, Zach Smith, Jerome DePina, the players that don't play that much, giving them some playing time here tonight.
Kansler connects for the Tigers. Inside, Zach Smith around and out. Goes to the floor hard. Rebound to DeCosta. The ball deflects off the hands of the Tigers' Walzak and hits the sideline. New Bedford now going to the bench. Antoine Murphy in for the Whalers, wearing number 15. Number 10, Wilson Pilarde. Little runner around and out from Murphy.
Now you have Antoine Murphy in the game.
He's the leading scorer on the junior varsity, I believe. Here's Nort with the basketball. Cesar Oliveira, wearing number 44 tonight, though he's 50 in the program. Here's Murphy, takes it to the glass again. This time no good. Rebound to Smith. He missed on the putback. And this one has come to a close. From the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium tonight, it was New Bedford from start to finish. The Whalers never trailed in this one, and they come away with a 68-54 win in the first round of the 2004 MIAA Boys Basketball Division I South Tournament. As expected, New Bedford came away with a victory tonight, a 14-point win. It could have been a lot more, but the Tigers were able to hang in there, and a comfortable win for New Bedford, but the Tigers really not in the same league as the Whalers.
Well, the Tigers finished the season out with the loss, obviously, the Whalers, and they only lost by 14 points. It wasn't even all that bad as far as the stats go if you look at it, but the fact is they were able to break the press and make the score somewhat respectable here tonight.
68-54. New Bedford led by as many as 24 here tonight. They come away with a 14-point win. They'll be playing the #2 BC High Tigers, who won against North Quincy 81-40. And the Eagles, with the home court advantage, will be a tough opponent for New Bedford, and the Whalers will have to play a lot better than they did here tonight, possibly with the exception of one of the Whalers. A.J. Tavares tonight was absolutely on fire from the three-point line. Paul, he ended up with 27 points.
Just outstanding from the three-point stripe. I mean, he was hitting that shot that he really enjoys off to the left in the corner. But sometimes he was hitting it when he was covered a little bit. Sometimes he was hurried, he was still hitting it. A few times he was in NBA three-point land. He would just drain that one too. I mean, he was just hitting them all. And as you pointed out, if he does that against BC High, I mean, they're going to give him a game.
He was on fire tonight, guys. And I look for another great showing from Tavares and the Whalers, 5 strong and the good bench at BC High on Friday night.
Okay, let's take a break, guys. We'll be back with a few interviews here as Paul will go into the Whaler locker room and bring out a couple of the stars of tonight's game. And we will be back with those interviews right after this.
There's a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around.
Back at the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium, where tonight New Bedford defeated Taunton in Division I South sectional first round action, 68-54. Paul Santos has a guest here tonight, and it's A.J. Tavares.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. As you said, A.J. Tavares joining us down here at New Bedford High School. 8 3-pointers tonight, 27 points, and you came out on fire. What was going on out there tonight for you and the Whalers?
I knew there was a possibility that this would be my last game, so I tried to come on and just lead my team like I've been trying to do all year and lead by example, and then my team followed and played great.
Well, for you personally, obviously it's a team game, but we do want to talk about this also. You did end up the season with, I believe it's 73 or 74 threes for the season, which sets an all-time New Bedford High School record. I know the team goals come first, but it has to be nice to make an accomplishment like that here at the high school.
Yeah, it's nice to have my name in a record, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not like a record type person. As long as we win, then I'm fine. That's it.
Talk to me a little bit about the way this team has played down the stretch. It seems as if you're playing your best basketball right now, down the stretch and into the state tournament. What are the types of things that you're doing that made you successful tonight?
In practice, coach just wants to get on us hard and not let us breathe for a second because he knows that we have to be focused in order to do something special. And he just keeps on us, and we listen to him. We just breathe basketball, and then we just been trying our best, and it's obviously been shown.
Well, it was great to get that first win behind you. Obviously, you have a tough meeting now with BC High. They're the second seed. They've had a great season. They've won 80% of their games. What's going to be your thought going into that contest?
We had a tough battle up there early in the beginning of the year without our center Nick Pont, and we only lost by 3. So hopefully when we get back there this Friday and we play, we're going to have everyone. We're having our full arsenal, so it should be a totally different game, and we should be able to come on top.
Well, congratulations on an outstanding effort tonight, both yourself and the Whalers. We wish you the best of luck against Boston College High in the next round.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's A.J. Tavares. Let's go back to Joe and Ian.
Well, Ian, it was a great game tonight for New Bedford. The Whalers coming away with a much-needed win. They hadn't been in the playoffs in several years. Now back in the tournament. They win their opening round matchup with Taunton High School. And your final thoughts tonight?
Well, you know what, Joe? They got the monkey off their back. They won the first round. Now it's off to BC High Friday night. BC High 16-2, an .850 winning percentage. They're no joke. It's a hostile environment in there. They're going to have to bring their A game. But as AJ said earlier, now they're going to have Nick Ponce in the lineup. So let's see what happens. They only lost by 3 last time. With Ponce in there, who knows what's going to happen.
The Whalers come away with a first round win. They go on to take on BC High.
It's a good game, Joe.
On Friday night. And, of course, Ian, congratulations once again. Ian will be seen on Fox Sports Net April 14th.
Yes, against the Atlanta Hawks.
And the Celtics and the Hawks. And we hope by then the Celtics have posted another win. And they're
maybe just one.
0 for 24 by that time.
Oh, well. If not, I still get my name heard, so.
Okay.
It's all about me anyway. I'm just kidding.
Very good. For Paul Santos, I'm Joe Cabral. The final score for a final time here tonight from the Beardsworth Gonzalez Gymnasium. It was New Bedford 68, Taunton 54. Ian, good luck at Fox Sports Net. And next time
Joe.
we meet, hopefully the Whalers have continued to advance in Division I South action. Good night, everyone.
I'll see you before I go there. I think we'll be doing some volleyball or something.
Volleyball,
Maybe-
squash.
Another quick exit because they have to pick up son number 2.
Oh, son number 2, what's he
Hockey?
playing, hockey?
No, actually, he's being watched by the grandmother.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Did I make the run?
SpongeBob. You saw SpongeBob.
All right, we'll wait to hear what, if anything, we have next.
Yeah, I asked him. Dan definitely can't do it Friday, so
so
they're not doing it Friday, so I guess
see
they'd
what
have to
happens.
advance.